Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our online multiplayer battle in Total War Warhammer 2 number 9. If you want to check out any of my other previous battles in the series, do check the link in the top right-hand corner. We're just having a look at the opposition. We have the Empire, you saw the Hellblaster there, you've got the Cavalry, you've got the Demigryphs with halberds hidden in the woods. It's the Regiment of Renown unit, very dangerous. We're playing as Chaos, but we'll get to them in a little bit. You also have a lot of greatswords here lining up. I think it was 4 or 5 great swords that they had. And then moving over to the other opposition team, it's a free-for-all, by the way, if I haven't mentioned. And we've got the dwarves on the far side. Now these are going to play a bit of a less relevant role than one might expect, so just be aware of that. Led by the High King himself. Got Thunderers, you've got Dwarven Warriors, great cheap unit there for the Dwarven Warriors. Got a couple of units of Slayers as well. Looking great. Looking forward to those new Slayers we're going to get in the May update as well. Although not a huge amount of sort of difference there between the Slayers and the Giant Slayers, which will be armor piercing. But we've also got the Quarrelers, got Cannon, you had the Organ Gun back there, you've got Hammerers. A pretty all-round army there from the Dwarves. And then on the far side here, we have the Dark Elves. So the Dark Elves, we've got Bleak Swords. You've got the Dread Spears as well. You've got a couple of units of Spearmen. I think this is the Bowman, the Crossbowmen. You've got the Hydra, you've got the Dragon, and I think you have Malekith on a dragon back there. Hydra looks great, doesn't it? I've always liked the look of the Hydra. And here we go. You've got the 2 dragons up here. And you can see the Harpies in the background there as well, which are good for chasing down units. And then you just have the plain black dragon. So 2 dragons, pretty dangerous. And we've also got an assassin hiding here in the woods. Personally, I've not had a huge amount of luck with assassins myself. Now here's my own army. We've got Chaos led by Sigvald. We've got the Knights there. We've got Dragon Ogres. We've got a couple of units of Warriors. We've got the Forsaken looking horrific over there in the background. Pretty good frenzying unit. We've got Sigvald there, looking dapper, as always. We've got a chosen unit, and we've got these guys, which I think are the normal Chaos Warriors with halberds. But we do have a chosen unit with halberds as well. And over here on the far side, we have our Marauder Horsemen. Now, this is the battle kicking off, and straight away they had gunners in positions, or they will do in just a moment. So let's kick things off here then, shall we? There we go, the gunner's going straight off against our horsemen. We tried to run away, but look at all that health we lose straight away from those horrible, horrible gunners. So we realize that. We realize they've got the Hellblaster volley gun, which you can hear going off. So we're retreating our guys. We see some of our front units taking hits. We don't have any artillery, so we're not going to try and exchange artillery with these guys. At least not for, well, not ever, not for now. So the idea is just to retreat into the woodland behind us. And try and just wait out and see what everybody else does. Now it's a pretty thick woodland that runs along the entire length of the backside of this battlefield. So we're pulling everyone back. There's plenty of room in there for everybody. On the other side, the Dark Elves and the Dwarves are just at some kind of standoff. There was something going on in the chat during this battle between, they were just both arguing about who was not going to move first. So that was that weird battle on the other side. But on this side, with me versus the Empire, with us all hiding away, not providing his Hellblaster with any viable targets, he has to kind of change focus with at least that piece of artillery. For now, he's just firing at the last ones he can see. Now this is when I get an idea. I'm thinking, okay, we've got this woodland running along the whole back side of the battlefield. Let's try and set up, because he's on the move as well, and he's definitely going to come towards me. So let's get some of our warriors up front. Let's move the cavalry unit and the dragon ogres a little bit closer so that they can burst out of the woods in a kind of ambush-like position. Although not really an ambush, he knows we're here. But it's just a matter of trying to catch him slightly off guard. And he doesn't have a huge amount of anti-large. Except for perhaps those Demigryph with halberds, which are the most dangerous. we've got our warriors just to form the front line of this hidden in the woods unit. He's moving his greatswords up. You can see his Empire cavalry trying to lead the way, just checking the woods in front of the rest of his troops. Now, I think he thought I was going to be a bit more aggressive and like come at him through the woods where his cavalry would intercept and his gunners out there by themselves would just be able to shoot us down with the cavalry holding our fighters in position. But we weren't that aggressive. We were just holding back, lining our guys up. So you see we've moved the cavalry right up to the front there. They are behind a couple of warrior units. We did move a unit of halberds up when we saw that Empire cavalry. That's who's moving up right now. The halberds just coming through. When that Empire cavalry was coming through the woods just to deal with them if they gave us any trouble. Now, on the other side, just nothing's going on. There's still them just bickering with each other, the Dark Elf and the Dwarf. I think they exchanged some artillery fire. But here he is, moving up. He's moved his greatswords to support, at least this time round. So still not sure where we are, being a little bit apprehensive himself. So they're about to find us here, so it's a matter of what we're going to do. Now, we can skip across here, but what's going on there? Yeah, still nothing, as you can see, between the Dwarf and the Dark Elves. Now, as you can see here, the knights come in, we move our halberds up, and the knights just run away. Now he has an idea of where we are, he's coming for us. Now, this little dip in the hill might actually be pretty useful for us as far as these thunderers are concerned. Oh, not thunderers, handgunners. So we move our halberds in to make contact with the knights. We move our knights up, just trying to get into those gunners, because we know they don't have anti-large. Now, the knights will do pretty well here. Although they can't take all that fire by themselves. So we're just trying to... Now this net was an annoyance. I didn't think he'd net us once we were in combat. Because our guys aren't attacking or anything like that, and he's fighting us. So it allows him to move his thunderers around, but we're moving our warriors around a little bit as well. It does catch quite a lot of stuff. Pretty good net there. But I'm pretty confident. Our halberds are doing pretty well against those Empire Knights. They're backing up. And on our backside here, we're getting all these guys in against some handgunners. Great swords, probably not the best matchup. I thought they'd maybe do a bit better than they end up doing. God, they're vile looking, aren't they? Just going up against these great sword gits. Now over here we've got our knights in against a lot of the great swords, but they should be alright. Now it's a matter of trying to close down these gunners now. We can't let them sit back there and fire. But it's a pretty narrow battleground we're fighting in now, which plays to the advantage of those missiles. We're pulling out our Chaos Knights just to save them for something else. And what we're going to try and do is loop these Chaos Knights round the back of these fighting Chaos Warriors, move all the Chaos Warriors in to fill the breach that the Knights left, and try and move our Knights round the back. But this is just us moving in the Chaos Warriors, moving in anything that can fill that gap, the halberds as well. And we can see, yeah, there we go, the Knights are coming around, same with the Marauder Cavalry as well, or at least what's left of it. Then there's a Banish, which could have been a lot worse, but kind of just went off in its own direction. So now on this side, as you can see, we're trying to move, well, here we're just held up, but we're trying to move our cavalry round. And so we're charging our Chaos Knights at the Empire Knights, but that was bait that I didn't actually pick up on, because in the background there you can see the Demigryph with halberds lurking, and they pounce upon our Chaos Knights. But I was still just more concerned with getting something in on these handgunners, and we've managed to tug a few of them into combat. Now we're keeping our Dragon Ogres back, but now you see that unit of gunners that have gone around the edge. We're going to send our Dragon Ogres after them. This isn't great. Here come the Marauders up to try and deal with some of these handgunners. Now that they've been cleared, now that the Chaos Knights have managed to drag away those halberds, those Demigryph of halberds. And we're fine with them drawing fire over our Chaos Warriors, to be honest. And then so you've got the Dragon Ogres there, dealing with that unit of handgunners pretty quickly. One of our returning units there coming back into the fray. Dragon Ogres are great. Anyway, he pulled out his halberds. They hadn't finished off our Chaos Knights yet, but he moved them out as soon as he noticed the Dragon Ogres. He knew he had to come and deal with that threat, so he's sending them over there. Now, I fancy our Dragon Ogres in a fight against Demigryph of the Halberds. They both have anti-large, but I'm backing the Dragon Ogres. I wasn't too worried about it. Monster on monster violence. You really do hate to see it. Then over here, we're just trying to whittle down their greatswords. They're just tar-pitting us at the moment while they withdraw handgunners. And then we got Sigvald in the back, just tying up a unit of handgunners as well, which is pretty good. And the wizard's there. The wizard's no threat to Sigvald. He'll just let them hang around him all day. Now, it might have been better to have Sigvald in the main group to use his boss and stuff, but we just had to tie up those handgunners. Those Chaos Knights and Empire Knights are just ruling each other out at this point, having been quite badly hurt by the Demigryph of Halberds. All our Chaos Warriors are actually winning against the Greatsword, so we're actually fine, really, in the most part. And this is when they start to break. And this is mostly our Empire enemy dealt with. Now, you'll notice that we haven't heard hide nor hair of the other armies. They're still over there dealing with each other. But we managed to get the Dragon Ogres now, but here come the Dark Elves. Now, I'll let you into something, guys. This ends up being pretty close all round. But the Dwarf player, I think, dropped out by this stage. And they didn't give it to the AI. The army just left. And so the Dark Elf player ended up coming over here. I think they were just so bored of their standoff on the far side. Which meant there was no way I was going to win at this stage. I had beaten my Empire opponent. They're all breaking. But I couldn't have that fight cost me too much to be able to turn around and then take up a Dark Elf army. But because this is a free-for-all, we're really more considered with points. And when we get more into it, we'll show you the points towards the latter end of the battle. But really, it's just a matter of, did I do enough damage versus the Empire, or did the Empire do enough damage to me to win this battle, or will the Dark Elves somehow manage to catch up? Is there enough left on the board for them to catch up with either of us? So we've got our Dragon Ogres just chasing down these handgunners. We don't want them coming back. And we're actually withdrawing all of our units, at least all the ones we can that the Harpies aren't catching, just to try and get them away, try and regroup a little bit with this oncoming Dark Elf army. Now, you'll also notice there are a couple of Empire stragglers in terms of their general, and I think their Light Wizard hangs around for a little while as well, but all of their main units break. So we're trying to take cover in these woods just to give us a bit of a shelter from these two dragons and stuff, and to try and pick a target. And so, like, okay, let's at least try and get into combat. We're giving them clear lines of fire. This isn't the most ideal thing, but let's just do it. We need to get points. Oh, that's a horrible volley. There's Sigvald himself, just trying to draw some fire with his regenerative ability, so he's not too bothered about it. Now, this player is very conservative with his dragons. He's using Malekith more as just a mage as opposed to a kick-ass melee fighter. So there's Sigvald getting in there. There's a Hydra in behind over there. Got some of our Chaos Warriors getting us some valuable points. Because really, all of the Dark Elf infantry is garbage. The biggest threats the Dark Elves have, the crossbows, the Hydra, and the two dragons. So the dragons are just going after all of our troops in the back, but not really diving into combat. We're pulling back our Dragon Ogres, who we'd hidden away just to try and get away from the dragons, but we're going to need them for points. Now still very conservative with the Hydra, very conservative with the Dragon. Not doing too much to the Dragon Ogres there. Who go in against it. And you know what? A fully healed Dragon Ogre unit might be able to take a Hydra. But as damaged as they were, I just don't think they could pull this one off. We've got magic going off. Now that's the Empire player who's still kicking around and still using his mages to get a couple of points. Now, as you can see, we pulled up the points in the top left-hand corner. The Empire is 300 points ahead of us, so we need to get these kills versus the Dark Elves. Now, if the Dark Elf player was really committed to allowing the Empire to win, he'd dive in and be a bit more aggressive. But his standoffishness might allow us to steal this one. So that's what we're trying to do. So we've got all of our units fighting as much as possible, just to try and close that gap. Because even that spell that Gelt just pulled off, I think is the one that pulled him ahead. So we're just trying to close the gap on the Empire. Now it's around sort of 200 points. We're getting there, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves because Gelt and the Light Wizard are still out there. And this Dark Elf player does not seem in too much of a rush to actually shut them down. Now we've got this retreating unit of Halberd. Just remember these ones, guys. They will play a fairly significant role later on. So for the most part, they're now trying to close down Gelt. But Gelt will do pretty well against Crossbowmen. Again, racking up points by himself there. And they're not putting in the Dragons. They're not putting in the Hydras to just try and close down the Generals. Even against me. There is the Dragon there facing off against me now. But Sigvald's still in there holding his own. Not really taking a huge amount of damage. Now, at this stage, I cannot tell if the Dark Elf player is just messing with us. Is just messing with me and the Empire player. Because he is now withdrawing his crossbows and stopping giving them points. He's starting to whittle them down with crossbows. He has sent in a lot against me as Sigvald. That's the Light Wizard away. But then, at some point, he does something weird here that I have to imagine he was just messing with us. So he just withdraws everything from Sigvald. And I'm not sure why. Like, that, it makes no sense. And so they just leave him over there by himself. He seems to be mostly concentrating on trying to take out Gelt, sacrificing another unit of crossbows, which, unlucky for me, is still racking up the Empire numbers there. But you know what? We've got Sigvald just facing off some bleak swords. He's happy to do that all day. He'll get his own points. Now it's just a matter of who's going to get more points where. And that Light Wizard is still over there, but I'm not sure if he runs at this stage. I think he does come back. But Gelt's still just there, getting points. Still maintaining their lead ahead of us. Now, this is what I mean by maybe the Dark Elf player is messing with us. He's got 2 dragons there. He's only got to kill 2 units, and it's over. Like, he can't get any more points. So I think he was maybe messing with us to try and, like, dictate the game himself. There's Gelt broken. But I do think he comes back. Now, yeah, as you see, 2 dragons, the Hydra, the Harpies. Now, here's that unit of halberds I mentioned early on. We've got them hiding in the wood. The other player doesn't know they're there. And I think the Dark Elf player is really taking his foot off the accelerator at this stage, thinking that he can whittle down Sigvald, not knowing that Sigvald can sit there all day against bleak swords and the like. And now Gelt chasing down some crossbows. He came back, getting a couple more points there for Gelt. Annoyingly so. And I'm happy with this situation. I'm like, okay, if they're just going to watch Sigvald get points, then I might be able to pull this one away. Yeah, I don't know if the Dark Elf player is thinking if I let Sigvald regenerate, I might have enough points to catch. He's never going to have enough points to catch me up. So I'm not sure what his exact thinking was here. And so Sigvald's just getting points. So really for us, it's like, can he leave Sigvald alone long enough for Sigvald to rack up enough points to overtake the Empire? That's the thing. I think it's 300 points at this stage, the difference roughly. And now you've got these guys. You've got the Harpies up here. Now what we're doing here is we know we need to nick in some points somewhere. So we're moving our halberds up sneakily through the woods just to try and pounce upon one of these remaining crossbows or bleak sword units. Just like this, I was actually tempted with was this crossbow unit here by the woods. I was hoping to charge into the back of them for some points. But he does end up moving them around. But we're just trying to get our halberds into the game here to try and maybe be the difference maker in this battle. Now, he's casting magic on me, which is a terrible idea. He's going to be killing more of his own troops than mine.
This is madness.
Which I suppose maybe he wants to do to rob me of points. I don't know. I don't know what the Dark Elf player is thinking. Now, Gelt is over here just trying to prance about, avoid that assassin, and maybe cast a spell or two. Although I think he might be out of magic at this stage. But Gelt's still there, still with the opportunity to get a couple of points here and there. The Harpies going up against him. Now those guys running away from Sigvald, I rather foolishly charged Sigvald at the Hydra. And he just got knocked down. Now this is where we're in danger. He sends in the dragon, he sends in the Hydra. This is where Sigvald might actually go down. He could have fought this. So I send in the halberds. I'm like, okay, that's enough pretense. Let's go in. Technically, they could get wiped out by a dragon on their way there, but they're going to hopefully get us some points against something. So let's just send them in. Now, the Harpies are chasing down Geld, and I think this steals the Dark Elf player's attention away slightly. And so here we go. We're found. There are the halberds. Is anyone going to do anything about them? Because Sigvald's in a lot of trouble. His health is dropping quickly against that Hydra and Dragon in combat. Look at that. And so we're like, okay, let's go against these bleak swords. Let's try and avoid that Dragon. Has he even seen I have this other unit here? Probably not. He's still just trying to kill Sigvald. And so we get in. Points, points, points.
I have killed enough. This fight is lost.
So we're getting points, guys. Look at that tally tick up. Can we do enough? Sigvald's running away. He's not going to help us anymore. How long can our halberds hang on for? The Hydra and the Dragon are both giving chase to Sigvald. That's perfect. Run away with him, boys. As we move our halberds, we're like close to breaking up just to try and get into these crossbows who have been left behind. And we get in there, and it gets real tight, and the points keep going up. At this point, the Empire player's out of the game. Those Harpies got Gelt. It's ticking up, it's ticking up, it's ticking up. Can we do it? They tried to run away a little bit. We'll get our halberds back in there. No, it's going to be mighty close. Now, they could end us in a minute. Just charge that Black Dragon in, and it's done. Now, this is when I think the Dark Elf player is definitely messing with me. When he lets my tally tick up like this, getting so close to that 9-7 mark.
So be it.
Is he going to do anything? Is he going to interfere? Oh, he casts a spell. And I think that might be it for our boys. Nope, they get up. They're still fighting for a little bit.
Battle loses its savor.
And I think that's it. There we go. Then they break.
Such unholy resilience. Withdraw for now.
Oh, so close. The dragon came in. Let's go to the results screen and have a look at that, guys. 26 points. That's all there was in it in the end. That's what makes me think that maybe the Dark Elf player was messing with me. 26 points. Ah. Sigvald did great. Look at his kills, along with the Dragon Ogres. The Chosen did pretty well as well. Oh, pretty good performances all round. I think if I could have changed that, I would have put the Forsaken into something else. If I could, maybe try and got them round to fight those handgunners. Because I think that matchup, the Great Swords, wasn't fantastic, obviously. The Dark Elf player didn't get a lot of kills. The Harpies got around a bit, and the Dwarf player didn't really do anything. So yes, even Malekith. If you used that dragon more aggressively, but it wouldn't have made a difference. I think by the time the Dwarf player quit, the Dark Elf player was left with nothing else to fight. That's about it, guys. A weird little battle there. An odd one for me to fight. In all honesty here, the second free-for-all battle I've ever done. I have played a minuscule amount of multiplayer for Total War Warhammer 2. This is the second free-for-all battle I ever did. Got real close. Sigvald almost pulled it out the bag there for the team. But as always, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to catching you on the next one. Alright, guys, bye.